Well, I guess it's up there, so it doesn't really matter.
Good morning, and welcome to Between the Trees Business Talk, brought to you by Woodlands Online, our weekly opportunity to share what's going on and news, events, and the people of the Woodlands Area Chamber of Commerce. And we appreciate you joining us this morning. Today we are here with Courtney Schweitzer and Christy Leggett. Courtney is with Kimball Insurance Group and our Vice President for Business Development on the Chamber Board of Directors. And so, Courtney, we're excited to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And then we have Ms. Christy with Community Assistance Center. She is the co-team lead for this year's annual meeting and awards luncheon.
Yes.
Christy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Both of you phenomenal community partners, both excellent leaders within the Chamber. And we appreciate all the work that you do. But before we get into all of the annual awards meeting stuff and all of that good stuff, Christy, what's going on at Community Assistance Center?
You know, the fun never stops at Community Assistance Center. No, we are gearing up for our big Strikeout bowling tournament, our Strikeout Hunger bowling tournament happening next week. We have a huge back-to-school distribution coming up immediately following that, where we'll be supplying 400 kids, getting them ready for a great, successful new school year, and of course, watching the weather patterns to, prepare for any kind of possible natural disasters that might hit us here. It's been a really rough year already, and so we're gearing up and being prepared so we can make sure that we can help all of our community neighbors.
For sure. And it's kind of in the name, but for those who don't know, tell us what Community Assistance Center.
Community Assistance Center, we are in our 44th year of existence here in Montgomery County, and we serve all of Montgomery County residents that are facing any kind of financial crisis, meet their basic needs. So we help with rental and mortgage assistance, utility assistance. We have a client choice food pantry that allows folks to come in and actually choose the food items that are right for their family. So basically, anytime that we can be of assistance to anyone here in Montgomery County, we will step up.
Awesome. And we certainly appreciate that, because we know that there's, despite how everything looks in the world, we frequently have neighbors in need.
Absolutely. Right? And the Chamber has always been wonderfully supportive of us, and the CARES Committee recently did a drive for us, which was so much appreciated. There are lots of folks here in Montgomery County that do need that little hand-up assistance sometimes, and we are not income restricted, so even those of us that are seemingly have it all together, one disaster can really shake that foundation. Yeah. So it's our privilege to be able to help everybody and do whatever we can, and work with other organizations here in Montgomery County as well, in order to make sure people get what they need.
For sure. So what's happening in insurance?
Isn't that the $1 million question?
No, tell us a little bit about Kimball and the work that you all are doing over there.
So Kimball Insurance is an insurance broker. We focus on property and casualty insurance, so mostly like your home and your auto. Everyone generally hates insurance, so please don't hate us. But we're here to work with our customers and help them find the shoe that fits them when it comes to insurance, because unfortunately our hands are tied on specific things when it comes to carriers. However, we can work with you and really customize an approach and work with you to figure out, educate you, I guess, on what you're getting, so that you know what you're up against when the time comes to need to use your insurance. For
sure. We appreciate it. I think a lot of times it's the concept of insurance. It's certainly not the people, right? And
hopefully.
We know that it's we need, but having those trusted advisors like you all, who are going to guide you in the right direction, I think always not only adds value, but it gives you that level of security, that safety, and you know that you've got the right fit for you, right?
Exactly. I think knowing what you have before it's time to use it is a huge factor, because then there's no surprises, and when you call to file a claim or when you're not going to file a claim, that you know what to expect. It's really that people thinking this is covered and then it's not is really, I think, what frustrates a lot of people. So hopefully we can bridge that gap for them.
Yeah, and it seems as though you all, as I think is very valuable, but kind of one of the characteristics of our community is you still do it face to face a lot of times, right? It's a handshake. It's knowing the person, and that matters. I mean, particularly in insurance, because generally, outside of the first time, people are calling you with some kind of traumatic, I've been in a car wreck, my house is flooded. So having that connection to people really matters.
Yeah, for sure. Being able to call and talk to someone that's near you and understands and kind of in the same scenario as you are versus a 1-800 number is really, in my opinion, huge.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Glad that things are going well and things are moving along with each of your organizations. And so today we're going to talk about the annual meeting and awards luncheon, which will be Friday, September the 26th. So mark your calendars. Friday, September 26th. This year, we're doing things a little bit different. We are embracing the boundaries of the Woodlands area, and we've outgrown our previous space. So we're moving to the Hyatt Regency in Conroe. Another great member and partner with the chamber, but an opportunity for us to explore a new venue and location for this event. This time of year, we it's funny that we say this because it's like middle of summer and hot,
right?
But for the chamber, in our fiscal year, we start to reflect. We start to look at the year that was relative to that fiscal year. But it's time to look at accomplishments. It is time to really evaluate how we're doing, kind of look at what's next. But I think most importantly, it's a chance for us to really take a step back, take a breath, and say thank you. Right? We try to say that all throughout the year, but this is that moment where we get to focus every bit of attention on truly our members and volunteers that make the place go, that are, if I can use the phrase from Volunteer Appreciation this year, the wind, but beneath our wings. And so we look forward to it, but it's we want to focus on all the things, right? Yes, we'll talk about events, but it's more about the teams and committees and volunteers and how we've advocated for the community and all those things. But it's a celebration, so it's a time to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, and I think there are lots of folks that don't realize just how many opportunities there are to get involved with the chamber in a variety of different ways, whether it be volunteering to help nonprofits, whether it's, Business Advocacy Council where you're taking action in order to advocate for small business. There's so many great opportunities to plug in, and it not only gives you the open door to grow your business, but really it's about building relationships, and that's what we're all here to do. So.
For sure. And each one of those is unique, right?
Yes.
It's because you're gathering not just to get together. I mean, there's real work, there's real volunteerism that goes in, but you're right, the relationships, you're coming together with a bunch of folks who are like-minded. You mentioned the CARES Committee. Those are people who have a heart for the community and for giving back and for all those. Not that everybody doesn't, but this is a group that has said, we want to take that extra step and engage, right?
Yes.
This is our big thing. The Advocacy Council, those are folks who have said, we want to fight.
But we're willing to.
Right. They want to engage on public policy issues and discuss those things. And then, our Innovation Council, that's another gathering place where it usually starts off with great intentions, and then it evolves, or in some of our, kind of devolves into this very technical talk of people who have similar backgrounds, and they start talking about, widgets and whim-whams and fluffy doos and all and you're like, fascinating. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but
especially those floppy.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It really is, and so I think it highlights the different types of businesses we have, the different types of leaders, and then those interests, and they all kind of come together, and they make for, I think, fascinating experiences and long-term solid business relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I've known Courtney since she started in insurance. We go way back, but it's funny how many of us have been through ups and downs, not
Career
only
changes.
and career changes, families, growing up, all these great things. And whenever you get to know folks that you want to do business with, it really takes on a whole different kind of meaning.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And, I've said this before, and I believe it to be true, and I think it will continue to prove out, is that network within the chamber and the business community here is one of those things that makes us more resilient as a community.
Absolutely.
Connection matters, right? And so when something happens, no matter what that is, you know where to go to get what you need, right? It's not a guessing game. It's not oh my gosh, the internet's down. I can't, look up, I can't Google, whatever. It's like, no, I know who to call. Those are all of my people.
Absolutely.
And, I joke around a lot when we do our Discovery Day with newer members, and I tell them, when I was a kid, one of my dreams was to own Caesar's Palace.
That's a great dream. I like that.
Like, I want this place to be mine, right?
Okay.
And then as I got older, I realized, some of the other connections that go into the casino business and things like that. And then for a brief while there, about 16, when I was able to finally watch movies like Scarface and The Godfather, I was like, maybe I can be that guy.
I can do this. I can do this.
And so
Big dreams.
So all of that, fast forward, I get to work for the chamber. And,
which there's some elements there that are kind of similar.
I'm still a boss because whatever we need in town, I got a guy.
You got it. You got a guy.
Yeah,
I got
we
a
got a
guy.
guy. Or a lady.
Or a lady.
everything.
Yes.
I know, we get that chance to know who does what. And
Sure.
so we say all the time, what do you need? Hey, we got somebody for you.
Yeah. Well, and that brings back a little bit of a story. Whenever Hurricane Harvey hit, and I found myself unexpectedly in the middle of Hurricane Harvey recovery, the very first thing I did was start calling chamber partners. And it was awesome to see how many of those participants were out there, boots on the ground, making sure people were taken care of. But it was the chamber network that really made a lot of things come together. That was pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing.
It's incredible. So, as we talk about coming together to celebrate the end of the year, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what your role is, both in the chamber, but then specifically with the annual meeting and awards luncheon.
Sure thing. So I am the Vice President of Business Development on the Chamber Board. So I oversee the sales, the membership, and really just how can we grow our chamber membership and maintain those chamber members and really make sure that everyone is getting value out of their membership and really try to make sure the experience is great for the members. Keep wanting to say clients for some reason, but we're members. And then specifically with the annual meeting and awards luncheon is making sure that everything is good to go, that everyone is lined up, really pushing to make sure we have plenty of nominations. So please go online, nominate people, because we want to make sure we have a good pool of candidates to choose for the awards, but really just making sure that the event runs smoothly and that everyone's in the right place doing their role to make sure that it's a successful event.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I am this year's co-team lead for the Diplomat team. Normally, Miss Amber Sycophus, our team lead, would be sitting in this seat, but unfortunately she couldn't be here, so y'all are all stuck with me. But it's a great opportunity to recognize those folks that step up every day, not only for the chamber, but also in our community. And it really is an honor to be able to recognize those folks. And like Courtney said, get those nominations in by July 31st. Make sure you go on the website.
Right.
Sure.
Deadline.
Sure. So we appreciate you all stepping up to lead, and I know that I have my reasons, but why do you all feel like it's such an important event for the chamber each year?
Well, I think number one, the annual meeting is a requirement for nonprofit.
Got to do that.
But it is such a great time to say thank you and highlight folks and give appreciation for what they do day in and day out, and just recognize those folks that are willing to step up.
Sure.
Yeah. I would agree. Thanking our members that have been longtime members is a big thing because we wouldn't be here without our membership. But then, like you said, everyone that has stepped up both to make our community a better place, but also our chamber a better place, we want to highlight that they're role models and let them know that we appreciate all that they've
Absolutely. And and it's interesting in this technological age that we live in. I think it's really important on the one hand to gather, and people are like, well, you're pushing an event, you want people in a room. Kind of. But I think the bigger thing too, though, is even though some of those awards, people walk away, you put them on a shelf, and they may start to collect some dust. But in that moment, there's something tangible,
Absolutely.
right? It's a gift that just says, we appreciate you. We're thinking about you. And we don't get those very often.
Right. Well, and there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that aren't always in front of the world to see. So being able to recognize those folks and say, hey, we see what you're doing. We see that you're stepping up, and give them that shout out. It's always a great opportunity to cut through the noise that we hear through, especially all the negative noise that we hear through every day.
Absolutely. It really is that chance. And so if I could reinforce one thing that Courtney said, that's nominate folks.
Nominate.
Nominate again. Just kidding. You can only nominate once, and you can't nominate the same person.
But you do have 4 awards you can nominate for.
For sure.
4 awards that you can nominate for, but nominate because we just need to take a breath and really think about those folks who you see making an impact. And we can only do 1 award, but I think sometimes just that knowing kind of who's being nominated and the fact that people are nominated matters a lot. You may have friends, you may be sitting there and going, I think I should get an award. Nudge somebody, tell them, hey, don't you remember
that time?
You should fill out this form. That might be. Yeah. So what awards are we giving out, and which awards are we giving out, or do we give out?
So we have the Chairman's Award, but that's obviously awarded by the chairman, the current chairman. And then we have Volunteer of the Year, the Legacy Award, Emerging Leader, and
Those are 4, right?
Community.
Emerging Leader. Chamber Volunteer of the Year, Community Citizen, Emerging Leader, and Legacy.
That's it.
Perfect.
I know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so we get all of these nominations in, they're collected, and then y'all just decide, right?
That's
right. It's all up to me. I get gifts and money.
Dinner, wine, all good time to take advantage.
Yeah, we have a nominating committee, or not a nominating committee, a voting committee that will then review all the nominations, have some great discussions around them, look through, make sure that people haven't already won the awards, and then we will select based off that. And then the fun part is keeping those items a secret, and behind the scenes getting together and trying to figure out how to make sure we get an impactful speech so that this person is very surprised, but yet it's also very heartfelt. And then getting, some very important people of the winner to be hidden amongst the crowd at the luncheon is always fun too, and trying to make sure that they don't find out that they've won before we unveil it. It's always really fun to hear the people's speeches because it's usually this person did this, and then watching around the room to figure out, who are we talking about, and little by little, and then eventually they, will let us know, is it a man or a woman, and then, finally you'll see the person and their table realize, oh my God, you're the winner. And then, and then they go accept their award, and then they freak out because, oh my goodness, there's your family all there, or whatever.
And then they cuss their friends later for not telling them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have experienced that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But it's one of those that it elevates that experience for them, and I think for everybody in the room, because you do kind of play that guessing game. And then, the part I love is that when folks don't know like that, the remarks they have usually are truly from their heart. They're truly like what they're feeling in that moment, and it's so authentic, and it's there are usually tears. There, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
there's all those things, and it's like,
Well, we have joked for many years that we should have a tissue sponsor for
Yeah.
this event because it makes sense. But yeah, it is great, and it's always you're
Tissue
pondering who
sponsor.
it's gonna be.
The wheels are turning now.
Yes, for sure. But it's always I forgot my train of thought, but nonetheless, it's a great event.
It is good.
absolutely. So, you guys have been here for several years and been engaged. Do you have a favorite past award recipient or honoree?
Well, it's
Or
it's
favorite
funny
fun
when
time?
so, and it is great because you can go to the chamber website and you can look at a list of all of the honorees from past years, and especially whenever you look at community citizen, but especially the legacy award winner. You have the late great Kenny Spate. You have Miss Nilda Blair, Congressman Brady, Michael Richmond. The names are, Montgomery County royalty, if you will, because they are the ones that have helped build this community from the ground up. And it's not just the Woodlands, it's not just South Montgomery County, but it's improving the life of all of us. And all of those folks, I've looked up to, not only as a professional, but just as a community citizen. And to be able to see them get that recognition for really a lifetime of service to their community is really something.
Yeah.
And, if you really want to aspire to something, being recognized for that kind of legacy is pretty dang amazing.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
agree with that.
Do you have a favorite that came to
Me?
mind?
I know.
Oh, yeah, no, not
Absolutely.
really. I mean, they've all been great, and what you have to say is so true. It's everyone that when they win the award, it's like, and you hear why they're winning the award, and then who it is, and the things that they've done. It's just always very inspiring, and
Sure.
like, oh, I want to be like them when I grow up, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Congressman Brady, and, before I ever stepped foot in the office there, part of the contemplation was many, many years removed, am I ready to sit in the chair that he
Yeah.
sat in? Right. And it's nerve-wracking because a lot of folks don't realize, even here, like, people see his impact in the community. They saw his impact State House and
In the country, yes.
and then in the country. But in different circles, like, he's well respected there, but in the Chamber of Commerce industry, he too is royalty.
Absolutely.
Like, if he shows up at something, the moment he hits the room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And I'm like, gosh, I wish we had a flying carpet because we could just put him on that.
Oh, all the time. Just keep
But
it moving.
Yeah.
it really is. It's like, because he's been that impactful. So
Yes.
to know that we get to honor folks like that from right here in our community
Yes.
is kind of overwhelming. And
Yeah.
you mentioned the legacy award recipient, and that's one that we'll announce very soon.
Mhm.
But talk just a little bit more about that award.
Good.
So that's just someone that has made a very lasting impact, not only on our community, but our chamber, and for not only the past, but also the present, the future. Like I said, lasting impact, life, not just what they've done in the past year, but for years they've been doing whatever they've been doing, and we want to make sure that it is known that that impact is celebrated. It was kind of, you talk about favorite past recipient, but not necessarily favorite, but just reflecting on when we hear the speeches at the luncheon, it's always so interesting because you get to hear a history of where we've been.
Yes.
And things that you didn't even know about, but then you hear how these people were involved in that, and then what that has done for us now. Those are the kind of people that are winning that award, and it's just, again, fascinating that you get to be in the same room as those people.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And, I think the juxtaposition of a very historic county seat that we get to interface with
Mhm.
and a relatively young community. So you hear the stories not only of this lasting impact, generational impact in the county from people, but then folks who tell those stories like, and do you remember, and they point somebody out and they're like, at the bottom of the lake party, and you're like, the what? And then that's a whole history
Yes.
trail there.
Yes.
Or, you say, do you remember the day that they said they were gonna take Woodlands Parkway all the way through, and they were going to have to move the helipad. Now it's like, helipad. Yeah. But you hear those kinds of things, but then you hear those things from, way even before that. So it is a fun time and an opportunity to see, I think particularly for folks newer to the community and some of our emerging leaders, our younger professionals, to see and to understand the shoulders they stand on now,
For sure.
right?
Yes.
That it's okay. Now it's your turn. This is who we want to be when we grow up.
Right.
Which is so nice because we are celebrating that legacy award, but then we've got those other awards built in, and the emerging leader is one that we're celebrating as well, to be like, again, it's kind of, here's where we've been, here's where we are, here's where we're going, and so it's a really great full circle.
Well, and it's like one of the legacy award winners in recent years was Michael Richmond, and the first Emerging Leader Award was given to his son Zach. And you talk about full circle. It's just it's a really wonderful thing, that entire legacy of passing down the importance of being involved and knowing your community and who is there making those decisions.
Yes, because great community just doesn't happen, right? You have to be invested.
Yes.
You have to. It's not just about doing the work or having the success. It's what happens when you turn around, you look inward and go, okay, how are we collectively better? How are we collectively keeping things together? And that's, I marvel sometimes, especially as I visit other communities, that when you walk down our streets, there's no garbage, right? There are a lot of cars that come through here. There are a lot of people that walk. There are a lot of, but we don't have garbage on the street. I would submit that our township does a great job. Shout out township.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All of our folks who are working to ensure that do a great job. I would also submit that if one of us were walking down the waterway and you saw a piece of garbage, you'd pick it up.
Yeah, pride in community is a big one.
Because you care about where you live, and that is one of the most amazing things that we have, and these folks that we get to honor are kind of reaching the heights of that type of care. They're turning it in multiple ways.
They're all the folks that are putting their grocery carts back and not leaving them in the parking lot.
Amen. Amen.
It's a big thing.
We need
be
more
that
of
person,
those.
please.
We want everybody to be one of those.
Absolutely.
That's how you can start on your track to winning one of these awards. Is put your grocery cart back.
It matters.
The Legacy Award begins with putting your grocery cart back.
Yes, absolutely.
HEB, you're welcome. Kroger, we got you. It is so important though, that it's the little things very often that matter. So there are a lot of ways that folks can get involved. They can buy tickets. We want everyone to attend. Are there other ways that people can get involved?
Submit nominations. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet. By July 31st, go to the website. Yes, they gave me $10 to keep plugging that. But take some time to think about who has made an impact on you or in your business, or that you've just seen out in the community and you're thinking, wow, they're really doing some great things. And go online to woodlandschamber.org and go to the annual meeting and awards luncheon event, and you can see the link to do those nominations and get those submitted.
You'll also be able to see the full list of people that are past recipients of all of those awards as well, because you want to make sure you don't nominate someone that has already won.
Yes.
There's also sponsorship still available for the event. So if you
tissue sponsor, it's a new one.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that.
And that's a good one.
Pick a sponsorship, and we can change it to tissue sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. you can pick one, but it's and that's important if you want to to brand your company, to be a part of this opportunity to present to these amazing folks. We'd love to have folks sponsor. Another key part of what we do here, we've talked a lot about the awards, but we also get the opportunity to step back and thank our team leads, to thank our board members that are retiring, those folks who are kind of at the apex of volunteerism, I guess, in the chamber. And it's that moment that we get to say thank you to each one of you, because people don't know how much our volunteers do sometimes, especially in those leadership roles. And they go, they show up at an event once a month and you call their name on the microphone. No. It's much deeper than that. but from the monthly meetings to the subcommittees and the phone calls and the, doing those things, and it's an investment of time and energy. And I just want to take another opportunity to thank both of you for doing
Yes.
that. With being so gracious with your time and your energy and your knowledge and talents. And so we do thank you, but we really appreciate that time to get to recognize those folks. And then, as you mentioned earlier, our long-term members, those folks who, some here from the beginning.
I was looking at the list of honorees for this year, and some of them, most of them, are businesses that we see every day. And then there are some that have just been around for 40 years, supporting the chamber, believing in the mission, believing in the advocacy role that the chamber fulfills. And it's just a really neat evolution of how this community has grown. And it's a great thing to be able to celebrate.
Absolutely. And it's so true, because at the end of the day, a lot of times folks see the marquee stuff, right? They see, the meeting or the gathering or that kind of thing. But when it all boils down, if you peel away that whole onion, all that remains is mission, right? And that's what our partners are investing in. And so the purity of that mission, keeping business first, ensuring that we are growing connectivity and creating opportunities for success and for our businesses, that's what it's all about. And, it's mission matters. And that we have folks who will say, we're on that ride with you, and 40, 45 years,
Yes.
and they're like, it's all about the mission. So we appreciate you all, and we look forward to seeing you.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts?
No, just get those nominations
I was
in
gonna say,
by
get your
July
nominations
31st. No, it's going to be a really fun event, and if you've never attended and you are a chamber member, especially, make sure you come and check it out. It really is a great gathering of folks that really care about this community and really want to see the best things for it all, and to create a great environment for business and nonprofit business too. So it's a great time to really engage and get to know the folks that you're sitting with.
Absolutely. Courtney?
Agreed.
All right. Well, with that, thank you all again for joining us on Between the Trees, presented by Woodlands Online. We are so excited for not just the annual meeting and awards, but to go through the rest of the summer. We hope that everyone is having an amazing summer, enjoying the beautiful amenities and the people, our neighbors here in the Woodlands area. Continue to be safe, continue to be healthy and well, and we will see you all next week between the trees.